Okay, so today we are going to continue with Sif Beis in the Simon. Good morning to everyone. And the Mishnah Brura, the Shulchan Aruch starts with discussing the halachas of davening on Eriv Yom Kippur. So the Shulchan Aruch says, "In noiflin al paneim be'Erev Yom Kippurim." We do not say tachnun on Eriv Yom Kippur. Question is, why not? Mishnah Brura says, "Dinohagin la'aseisu ksas kimo yom tov." Because the Eriv Yom Kippur is special, it's almost like a partial holiday, a partial Yom Tov. And therefore, that's why we do not say Tachnun on Eriv Yom HaKippurim. That's the first halacha that we're going to learn today. Second halacha is the Ramah. V'gami normim lamanatzeach u'mizmor l'soida. We don't say lamanatzeach or mizmor l'soida in davening. Mishnah Brura writes, "Lamanatzeach mishum dechsiv bei biyoyim sara." Lamanatzeach, that's because the pasuk says biyoyim sara, on a day of distress. Umizmor l'soida. Why don't we say mizmor l'soida? The bizman habayis haya osur lahakriv shum korban hanechal be'erev yom kippurim dememayi zman achilaso. The time of the Beis Hamikdash was around, was prohibited to bring any korban that is eaten on the eve of Yom Kippur, because the time to eat that korban, there would be less time to do so. Shari al kopanim kol hakorbanos ne'echalon le'yoim v'layla shel ha'chorav, u'b'yom ha'kippurim i'efshar le'echol v'nimsa mevi l'dei psul. Because all korbanos are eaten during the day and night that follow. On Yom Kippur, that's impossible to do. They cannot be eaten at night because, as we know, we fast. So consequently, we would be bringing v'nimsa mevi l'dei psul. You're going to bring the korban to become invalid. And therefore, that would be a halachic issue. That's why we don't say mizmor. So the obvious question on this is, in regards to lamanat sayach, why do we need to come on to this reason over here? I think the Oz V'Hadar Mishnah Brura picks up on this issue. B'yoyim Sara, v'kevan shenohagin la'asoisoi ksas yom tovin oroi lahazkil bo Sara. Since it's almost like a quasi yom tov, it's a partial holiday, like we said before, it's not fitting to mention Lamanat Seach, which talks about the day of distress. This isn't really distress.
And why wouldn't that be applicable any yontif?
That exactly is the Levush's question. So if you look over here on footnote Lamed Beis, Levush says that's why you don't say the Mizmor that the Levium would say. Where did I see it? I saw it somewhere. I thought it was over here. They continue with it in this footnote over here. No, there was something else. I thought that it was here. It was saying, I thought that it was right over here. Maybe it's on this note over here. Chavtes. Chavtes. A Mishnah Brura. Yeah, here it is. No, it's not what I was looking for over here. There's something I can't recall where it is. Maybe it was in a different place. We would have thought that since the kapara already started, it would be a different situation. I think that's on something that we already learned actually by Rosh Hashanah. I'm confusing what we did by Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. That's something else. Anyways, okay, so then disregard that comment. Anyways, Mishnah Brura, the Ramah concludes the simon and says, Gam ein oimrim koidim alois hashachar be'slichus. Before dawn, you don't say a lot of slichus. V'yesh makoimos nahagim laharbos b'slichus v'akol l'fi haminhag. In some places, they do a lot of slichus. It all depends on the custom of the location. U'inyan amiras avinu malkeinu be'erev Yom Kippur. Regarding saying avinu malkeinu on Erev Yom Kippur, yesh bo machloikes bein achronim. You have an argument between the achronim regarding this. Should you say it or not? The custom of my city is not to say it except for when Yom Kippur falls out on Shabbos. In which case you wouldn't say Avinu Malkeinu. Then you would say it Erev Yom Kippur in the morning. And mincha, you would never say it regarding all cases. Any questions, comments on this sif?
Those on shops, right?
Yeah. The going back to sif aleph, I just wanted to share with everyone. Actually, take that back. First, let's just see a quick Piskei Tshuvas. Whole discussion on Ovel davening on Yom Kippur. Different minhagim of Harfenis and the Shal Tshuvas Mekadesh Shel Simonation and Gimel. He says that in Mincha and Eriv Yom Kippur, the Ovel shouldn't daven. Different opinions about that. Just wanted to share that. This is the Ksav Sofer, which was quoted all over the place regarding Sif Aleph and eating Eriv Yom Kippur. The print is very hard to read on the computer. It's much easier in the Sefer. It's not the best print even in the actual physical Sefer, but he goes into this is the tshuva that they keep quoting over here. And basically, he wants to say that women would be obligated to eat on Erev Yom Kippur. And he says the same reason as the Chachma Shlomo, which we'll see the Chachma Shlomo inside, much nicer much nicer print. And but he adds his own little idea over here. On the contrary, for sure they should eat because they're weaker and therefore they need the food so that they could fast. Men are stronger by nature. It's the way that Hashem created us. No matter what the feminists say. We're faster, stronger. That's a fact. So that's why they would definitely need to eat. Talks about over here someone who he's going to be unable to fast due to a sickness. Is there still a mitzvah for him to eat on Eriv Yom Kippur or not? We discussed that. Seemingly, you should still eat. That's the general halacha. And we saw about this in depth in the past. So that is one important point. That basically he says over here. That is the Ksav Sofer. Just to share one source which was overlooked. Make that two sources which was overlooked. The Ateres Zakenim over here on the Shulchan Aruch says it's a mitzvah to eat on Erev Yom Kippur dafka dogim, specifically fish, and this is based on the story that we saw quoted by the Torah, where the tailor paid a large sum of money for fish to eat at Erev Yom Kippur for this special mitzvah. And the Torah didn't quote the rest of the story, but he opened the fish, he outbid the official of the king, and then he found a diamond, and it was very valuable. The Magen Avram opens up this simon. The Mishnah Berurah quotes this halacha: a person should learn less in Erev Yom Kippur in order to drink and eat more. And he quotes the Gemara in Brachos Tavches. Just to get you the whole picture over here, the Machasis HaShekel, which we never went through, he goes through this a little bit with some more detail. And the Gemara over there talks about how the rabbi wanted to, but Bibi actually, he wanted to do the whole Shnai Mikra V'Echad Targum the entire year.
Yom Kippur, right?
Erev Yom Kippur, he wanted to do it right before Yom Kippur. And what was his reason for this? Explains the Machasis HaShekel. Because if you'd have to do it every single week, that would take away for his set learning that he had in other areas. And therefore, say, look, if I have to take away from my in-depth learning and learn on a more shallow level, so it's qualitatively a decrease of learning, I'll just do it one day, I'll do it Erev Yom Kippur. Still, the rabbi told him, no, it's a mitzvah to eat. And therefore, you shouldn't be doing this Erev Yom Kippur. So we see that even though he needed to, this was a bittul Torah, be'ichus, it was a qualitative bittul Torah for him. And in order, and he needed to do it in order to eat on Erev Yom Kippur. Every single week, he would have to have a qualitative decrease of his learning. Certainly, we need to stop our learning, because that's even Shnai Mikra V'Echad Targum. We don't even learn at that level. So then the Machasis HaShekel concludes Baruch Shekevanti, and I know Baruch Shekevanti because it's on the recording from before, and I didn't see this Machasis HaShekel yet for some reason. I didn't go through it. I don't know why, but he says the Lira of the Fianias Daiti, he says You could have brought another raya. You could have brought a proof for the Gemara in Sukkah Kaf Ches. Also, Psachim, I said Kuf Tes. It's the same Gemara, parallel Gemara, overlapping Gemara. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, I said he never said Shema Olam Omar Hegia is La Moed Me Beis Hamidrash. He never said it's time to leave the yeshiva except for Erev Pesach. Full discussion what Erev Pesach means. Simple explanation: the eve of Pesach. Some say it's actual Pesach night. Tos was over there Psachim Kuf Tes. Because you needed to be involved with the preparations. Make sure that the children also sleep before so that they could be up for the Seder. And on Eriv Yom Kippur. Why? Because you need to eat. Eriv Yom Kippur, you need to eat. This is about Rabbi Akiva also. Because you need to eat. So you see, that's another proof that you need to eat. And I said this.
But nowadays, is this halacha not relevant because we just eat so much and we don't learn too much? Anyway, I'm saying people in general.
Say again?
Nowadays, maybe this halacha is not relevant because people eat plenty and they don't really learn enough.
That's definitely incorrect. It's just as relevant as it was 2,000 years ago. Just because we eat more, it doesn't mean that we still didn't have a mitzvah to eat.
I'm saying, but I'm sure no one's going to be bittul eating. I mean, there's bittul limentara, but I'm sure everyone's going to eat.
It depends on the person. The guys who are learning in yeshiva, a lot of those guys aren't big eaters. Right? Most people in general, I would say, don't overeat. I mean, America, statistically, the obesity is very high over here and being overweight and everything, but still, there are plenty of people who are not very large, and even the people who are large, they eat more than they used to. Mitzvah. As long as it's not a chilas kasa, yeah.
I'm quite sure I understand I understand there's a qualitative difference in terms of the learning, but what's the difference if you're doing it week by week or just one shot at a time? It's still the same time.
Yeah. So there's a concept of Sifas B'Torah. Sifas B'Torah, as we discussed in Yeshua, as we all know, means you learn without interruption. You learn straight. So every single day, this rabbi, I'm sure, had a rigorous curriculum that he placed upon himself, schedule, Seder Limud, areas of Torah that he's going to learn. And I'm sure it was not just psukim. It was learning it with incredible depth that we're even unable to comprehend. And for every single week on Erev Shabbos, for him to have to take away from his main learning, which we can't even comprehend what it is, in order to do Shnai Mikra, which is Psukim Rashi, Psukim and Onkelos. So that is a qualitative decrease of learning.
So take away from the sifas.
And his level. And you would have to do it every single week, as opposed to just, if you just sacrifice one day of the year, okay, so you put everything aside and the rest, then you could have a consistency with your schedule and everything. And you don't need to say, wait, I need to now allocate an hour or two to do the Parsha. That's going to take away from my schedule. It says in the Gemara Megillah, Mavatal Talmud Torah L'Shmo Mikra Megillah. We stop learning Torah in order to hear the Megillah. Megillah is Torah. Gemara Megillah Dav Gimel. So as we learn, it's qualitative bittul Torah. One explanation. One other point. The Chachma Shlomo, Rav Shlomo Kluger over here, tremendous Talmud Chacham, comes along and he says that women are obligated in this mitzvah. Near the chayavim, the kemoy the chayavim ba'achilas matzah, mikoyach the hokosh achilas matzah la'achilos chametz, the lumo kosh yishrim about teichel chametz yishrim makum achilas matzah. Just like they're obligated in matzah gemara psachim mem gimel, because whoever's not allowed to eat chametz has to eat matzah. V'al nashahon v'yishnu about teichel chametz yishrim makum achilas matzah. Since women aren't allowed to eat chametz, so therefore they have to eat matzah. And so too over here as well. Anisa mevnasho seichem betishi be'erev me'erev ad erev tishbesuru shabaschem. Inkin hochach achilas Eriv Yom Kippurim Yom Kippurim mamish. Eriv Yom Kippur is connected to Yom Kippur itself. Lochein kol sheyishnu mechal me'erev ad erev tishbasu shvatkim yishunami b'chav anisa meshu seichem b'chodesh. Whoever has to keep Yom Kippur has to keep the halachas of Eriv Yom Kippur as well. V'hani nashi. Since women are obligated on Yom Kippur, they have to keep all of Yom Kippur, etc. That's why they're also going to be obligated in Erev Yom Kippur. They're connected together. Then he goes into it more with some more proofs and ideas. This is the Chachma Shlomo. Shlomo Kluger. We did. Just wanted to show everyone this inside. He has a lot of length over here. I went through it. If this is such an important mitzvah, and according to the Mishnah Berurah and others that we learned, it's a mitzvah d'oraisa, it's a mitzvah from the Torah to eat Eriv Yom Kippur, why isn't it written explicitly in the Torah? Good question, right? Comes along Rabbi Shlomo Kluger again in the Chachma Shleima. The answer to this question is Merumos in the Tshuvas Achayat. It's hinted to in the answer that the tailor gave, which the Torah Taz quoted Medrash. They said, we know for sure. We have bitachon, we have belief. What does it mean? Hashem wanted to make us victorious with our judgment. Through the bitachon, the belief that we have in Hashem, we'll merit this. And we will rejoice. This will cause us to be victorious and successful in our judgment, as we learned earlier in Tavkov Pei Aleph. We quoted this earlier. That's what we learned about this. Through our bitachon, the belief that we have will be victorious in judgment. That's good in Rosh Hashanah, because we can demonstrate our happiness, our simcha. We eat and drink and we rejoice. That's on Rosh Hashanah. But on Yom Kippur, we're not allowed to eat and drink and rejoice. Hashem therefore commanded, have bitachon on Eriv Yom Kippur. Believe in me on Eriv Yom Kippur. Shenismach az lohoyrois b'tchoynenu bo yizbarach. Because we're going to rejoice in the bitachon of Hashem. And then in that strength we will merit the judgment. And that's why how could Hashem say, how could it say in Torah, eat Eriv Yom Kippur? The Torah would have said that would have been obligated to eat, because it says in Chumash, it says in Torah, you have to eat Eriv Yom Kippur. That would remove any potential bitachon that we're supposed to tap into. What would bitachon be? Wouldn't be recognizable at all.
Give up?
Yeah. That we're going to be victorious in our judgment. If the Torah would have said to eat, we wouldn't have any gain. Because the bitachon would have been out the window. We would have had no belief in Hashem. Because after all, it says in Torah. Comes along the rabbis in a roundabout way and says, V'lachin lo kosva Torah l'mitzvus achila. Oh, there you go. That's the way to do it. Could you get it like that also in the bottom? No. In the other way. What? Yeah. So that's why really make this thing big. So that's why what? There you go. Oh, that's cool. How do I get that box in there? How come he gets good the big box? Anyways, that's why, says the Chachma Shalma, it wasn't written over here. L'kach lo kasva Torah l'mitzvos achila. V'chein Rosh Hashanah lo kasva kin mahay time asher anachnu me'atzmini mezoiro al kach le'echel v'lishtois v'lahar Rosh Hashanah boi tchumei rezor. Why did it say in the Torah you should feast on Rosh Hashanah? The answer is because then they wouldn't demonstrate our belief in Hashem, that we know that we're going to be victorious in our judgment. as b'schar bitachon zeh ma'ale alinu ki'ilu v'sanenu tisha v'asiri aval lichtoi v'achilo haya efshar klal di'in ki inshuv leike bitachon v'simcho bat ulei tam achilo kach v'yichilu v'shemik v'yipurim tam echadhem v'at ishapir v'nachon. He says this pshat's correct. This idea is correct. Someone asks you why it doesn't say so in the Torah straight up. The answer is so that we have belief in Hashem. Belief that we're going to be victorious with our judgment. And belief that we know that we will be taken care of. Sins will get forgotten for.
How does that explain why it's not written?
Because if the Torah would have said to do it, it wouldn't. We for sure would have listened. It's in Torah. After all, there are many Jews who keep what it says in Torah, but they don't care what their rabbis do. Yeah, rabbis and Hashem, and yeah. Because it's harder to do so to say. That's the Chachma Shlomo. Towards the end of the Dirshu on the Simon, on Sifa Aleph, they quote an idea coming from Moshe Feinstein. Moshe over here says, if you can't fast unless you eat something that is a type of medicine, O yazrik legufa. Whatever there Moshe is talking about is you're taking some sort of injection or shot to put something into your body to enable you to fast, to prepare yourself for the fast. IV, whatever it is. So if you go through this tshuva, she says not only you're not obligated, but you shouldn't do such a thing. There's a concern that there's a prohibition involved. It's like you're contradicting Hashem's decree. Could be damaging yourself with the shot. There's stories that were said over. It's not for our simon, for another simon. About older people. Could be dangerous for them to fast, and they were given instruction not to fast. There's one older person who was very stubborn, and they brought him to Rav Shach. And Rav Shach told him, just like in the past it was a mitzvah for you to fast on Yom Kippur, now it's a mitzvah for you not to fast on Yom Kippur. The idea is that medications are permissible if it's for medical reasons. Not if it's for reasons to make a person fast or not. So even though we're learning about in this simon acts that we're supposed to do which help us fast and eat, etc., nevertheless over here we wouldn't do such a thing. Any questions, comments in the simon?
No.
Anything about eating, drinking?
No.
Even though we weren't happy with the sucker candy thing, it's still, no?
Okay. The way that the information was presented by the Dirshu Mishnah, by the Piskei Teshuvos, all the sources that we learned in the past, is that there is a part of this mitzvah is just eating the whole day. We did see in the footnote, you can't have achilas kasa, you don't want to overeat like crazy. However, we certainly saw that there's ideas in that it's a mitzvah to have sucking candies in your mouth the whole day. Other foods, we saw raisins. I could pull it up on the screen within 20 seconds. All the sources, we could review it. And the like, and we saw a lot of sources. However, I personally believe that the idea of the lavush is preferable. The idea of Chaim Pinchas Steinberg is preferable. Just to remind everyone for what I'm talking about, because I just did a lot of review on this. I don't know how much everyone else reviewed and remember exactly what I'm referring to when I say the lavush and the Chaim Pinchas Steinberg that we learned about. Lavush is the one who said that you're supposed to eat food that is easily digestible, light food, nachalim kalim, noyach lehisachel, if I'm not mistaken, was his language. I could pull it up if necessary. And Chaim Pinchas Steinberg is the one who is fiery against all of those opinions who say, eat a little of this, eat a little of that, the whole day. Chazal never intended, Hashem never intended that we just eat foods that aren't healthy all day and keep it in there all day. You eat food which is nourishing, which is good for your body.
Drink water.
Water, yeah. What is interesting about this is this psak of Rabbi Steinberg is not quoted. I saw it in a sefer that I went through of his Gadol in our midst. And what else is even more fascinating is, I mean, I haven't looked tremendously into this. I could look into other svarim, but you go through the main svarim over here on our simon with the issue, those the Mishnah Brewer, the Piskei Teshuvos, those are after the Torah and the Shulchan Aruch and the Mefarshim and everything. You don't see anyone saying that. You see the other way, that you should eat more and everything, and which is surprising. So what to talk about there, David?
No.
What?
No, I don't have any. I just wait. Did we clarify today about benching and it's really seven? What's starting at night? It's talking about starting the night before too. It's not just a day, right? It's the night. Yeah.
We learned in the past that actually made it to the Word document, which we're going to do next time. The summary, which have become very popular, because why would anyone want to actually learn in depth when you could just get the cliff notes, right? From all the labor and hard work that we did. So this actually made it to the Word doc. Some say that it starts at night. Maybe I should change the way that I wrote it, but I feel like general halacha is that it's going to start really during the day. Because when you're eating at night, that's not going to really carry over so much of the fast. We learned some opinions who held that it goes the entire year. Look, would I use the word far-fetched on that opinion? Maybe that's a little harsh.
What does that mean?
But I would say, some say every single time you eat a little bit, you have in mind that now it's so that I'll be able to fast on Yom Kippur and it will stay with me in Yom Kippur.
Even
Whoa.
food.
Even 11 months before, okay, that's far-fetched. I don't want to say far-fetched, but that's surprising. It was in the footnotes of the Piskei Teshuvos. We saw it. It was there. I could pull it up if necessary. I mean, it's a funny, I mean, come on. Food's not gonna
It
last.
doesn't make sense because if you would eat a lot today, it's nothing to do with Yom Kippur.
That's right.
It's far away.
So look, this is what we learned in the past. I asked what you guys wanted to talk about. You brought this up. It's right over here. See it?
Oh, yeah.
Right over here. Footnote number 9. Right over here, the bottom of footnote number 9 and the double highlighted. Something Chassidish. That's why the same thing with the story at night. All right. that this mitzvah starts at night. I don't know. I mean, some say that it's right over here. Some say it starts at night. Others argue. Some say footnote 8, footnote 9. They bring Shlo. Yeah, the Buchacha. That was the Buchacha.
She says, yeah, the night before.
That was the Buchacha. Yeah, Shlo.
The Buchacha was the one who said
The
all year round.
Buchacha. No. The all year round is the later Chassidish rabbi. I think.
Okay.
Maimer Yechezkel. Rav HaKadosh of Yechezkel and the Kluzmir. Yeah. That's what he says. So that's the story over there. Any other questions, comments?
Mm.
Okay, tomorrow we're gonna do a review, summary of the Siman. It's gonna be around 5 pages. I thought we were gonna be able to squeeze it in today, but I didn't realize how many other points that I just wanted to share, and how long it would take. So we'll do that tomorrow, and then we will be starting Hilchos Sukkah. Unless you guys want to stay in Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur, I think Sukkah will be very appropriate. It's the longest of all the Yom Tovim that we're talking about at this time. So we'll learn some insights. I think if anyone wants to get a head start, we're gonna try to aim to learn around 3 or 4 simanim. All the short ones at the end. There's a lot of short ones at the end. We're gonna try to tackle that, and we'll feel more accomplished with the simanim. And then, next year we'll be able to even do more. And then before you know it, you finish all the halachas built. So that'll be the story over there. What else to say? I just put up a shir last night on or 2 nights ago, whenever it was, yesterday rather, on the 9th parak of Yeshua. I think also be a good idea, in addition, with whatever you're up to, skip to the 9th.
Yeah.
Keep up with the 9th. I'm not putting them out fast. I'm going through it slow. I just finished the 9th parak, but I'm putting it out slow. The first one's around 20 minutes. And then it would be appreciated if to share any ideas or anything, make any corrections, things that I did wrong, because the 9th parak, it's harder to do when there's no one giving you feedback. You need to give and take. So you need to give and take if there's any mistakes, errors, or anything. I don't think there are so many.
Wait,
Yeah, I don't think but there's so many mistakes because I'm really going through it slowly.
is there if we have
Yeah.
when you Eriv Yom Kippur, is there we don't run into shilas if you have if you're eating the whole day and you want to bench, do you run into shilas? How much time should you wait?
You have a 72-minute minimum no matter what. So between benching, but if you're done eating, you should just bench.
And
when you eat again, then you have more.
Yeah.
But definitely do the 9th, and if there are mistakes, let me know if there updates, something like that, because that would be appreciated. And that's the 9th parak, and then keep going with whatever else you're up to. It's the 9th parak is a very important parak because it comes up all over Shas. Givonim comes up, and there's some very nice ideas. There's actually a nice idea that I saw quoted there that has to do with like tshuva. It's very appropriate before Yom Kippur, so maybe I'll cross-reference it and quote it. And so that's what we're gonna do, and then I'm gonna try to prepare something for, of course, this week's parsha. Some divrei Torah before Rosh Hashanah, divrei Torah before Yom Kippur, divrei Torah before Sukkot, maybe even last days. I haven't really looked at anything yet, but I'm going through the Yareach Lamad and Rabbi Ocean Sefer. I'm finishing it, the one on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. I'm almost done, so it's pretty nice Sefer. But so That's basically the story. This is the first simon of Yom Kippur. The reason why we're not going to do the first simon in Hilchos Sukkah is because we already did it.
Did it twice, I think.
We did it twice. We know well it's not recorded or anything, but I don't care because at the end of the day we did it.
We did the couple minutes, write it down.
Yeah. It's a good simon. We learned that simon really well, and I have a lot of notes on that, even though it's very short. Yeah, it's a very fundamental. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do like the last simanim in Sukkah, not the Daled Minim, but in Sukkah, because there's two sets of halachas in Hilchos Sukkah. It's broken down into the halachas of the actual Sukkah and then the Daled Minim.
Oh, that.
What's the first simon? The first simon is which one?
Taf Reish Chaf Hei is the first one. We already did that one. So we're gonna do at the end of Sukkah, right before Daled Minim. We're gonna be doing those simanim over there. I think it's like Taf Mem Aleph to Taf Mem Hey, something like that. If I'm not mistaken. So we're gonna roll through those. But tomorrow we're gonna do the summary first, okay? The simon. All right. Everyone should have a wonderful day. Mitzvah Hashem. Tomorrow we will resume.
So,